Thank God I'm here. The journey through those woods. It seemed the trees wanted to catch, smother, and swallow me. And the blizzard's becoming more and more fierce. I should be glad I've gotten here at all. If Jacek really worked on some nearby excavation site, then this hotel is probably the only place he could have stayed. I'll arrange accommodation for myself here and kill two birds with one stone. Maybe I should use a slightly different name. After all, I'd like to leave as few tracks as possible.
Not my problem.
And whose is it, then? On top of which, it's impossible to cook well even with poor supplies, but you would have to want to.
Yeah, pardon me then, next time. Miss? Who, how did you get here? Professor, we have a visitor. I'm Harry Koponen. Sorry for not greeting you properly. You took me a bit by surprise. Not many people visit us here. Not this time of year.
But it's not caused by the time of the year, is it? Why such modesty? What about telling the lady here where she has come to?
Oh, the professor likes to exaggerate. There are some strange things going on lately. Yes, but this is an unusual land. Things are a bit different here.
And what things are we talking about now?
Well, they found some newsman in the lake. He had a burning cross carved into his forehead. So now people aren't exactly rushing here, Miss...
Leroy. Madame Leroy. And that dead man. Somebody investigated it, didn't they?
Sure. The police are searching around here pretty thoroughly. Didn't find anything. The newsman was milling about the burnt monastery not far away from here. I told him it is an evil place, but supernatural things seemed ridiculous to him. He didn't believe they exist. Well, his mistake.
I need a room, at least for tonight. I don't really want to go anywhere else in this weather.
Yes, that's wise. But it will be a bit of a problem with the room.
Why? You're not going to tell me you're full, are you?
Well, it's not that simple. I have 2 free rooms, but...
Oh, really? That's odd. I don't know about any free rooms.
You see, that's the problem. I'm speaking about Argo. The company rented all 3 of my rooms. Now, only Professor Schneider stays here, and the 2 other rooms are empty. But only Argo people can use them.
But I only need to stay until tomorrow. It can't hurt anybody.
I'll be frank with you. I have a contract with Argo. They're going to pay for all my rooms for at least 1 more month. But if I broke the contract, the professor here will blow the whistle. They may cancel the contract and I'll be left with just those few euros from you for tonight. So I'm sorry, but it won't happen.
But where can I go to? First you tell me it's not safe around here, and then drive me out into the night?
Jesus, drop it. Okay, wait. Let me think for a while. If we...
No, those rooms belong to Argo. That's not going to change.
Yeah, thanks. I almost forgot that. I'm really sorry. Really.
So that's great. What am I to do now?
Only someone from Argo can do something about it. I mean, only Schneider. You see, my hands are tied in this.
So the technicians from Argo really stay here. No matter what, I have to find a way to get a room. But I really need to get a room here, or at least somewhere near.
Well, there's one place, but it's definitely not near. The road leading there is probably snowbound and looking at that junky car of yours. No, you won't get there. Not with this wreck. You'd get stuck halfway and freeze to death. And moreover, there may be something worse than cold out there. Much worse.
That Argo, what are they doing here?
The same as everywhere else. They specialize in restoring old buildings, renovating paintings, cleaning old rotten books and such. And here they worked in the burnt monastery. Well, worked is the correct word. Professor Schneider and those two, Bateman and Jacek. Jacek has gone to the States, didn't even say goodbye. And Bateman, well, that's a weird thing too.
Weird? I don't want to be nosy, but when you've already mentioned a dead body...
Well then, you're probably not going to like this. Bateman left to take care of something the very same day as Jacek, but he should have returned a long time ago. I think you know where I'm heading. I said it to the cops too. Gentlemen, Bateman, he's going to come up the same way soon, because there's a beast creeping around. This is exactly what's going to happen. You'll see.
So you're saying that Bateman has disappeared, and Jacek? You said he's left?
Argo had him relocated to San Francisco. It's strange, though, that he's not come back yet. I heard that they were done with the work there.
No, the work in San Francisco isn't done. Something bad happened at the site, and because of that it wasn't possible to continue. That's why Jacek was to return.
Oh, I know. But you said he had some kind of accident? Supposedly he was hospitalized. Maybe he was severely injured.
Are you listening to me at all? I said that Argo called and that he was released from the hospital long ago. But if he's not back by tomorrow, I'll continue the work myself.
Sure, especially when you can barely get up from the table.
And whose fault is that? If there was a decent cook here instead of you using whatever you use to cook that stuff, I would be just fine.
Yeah, people are lining up to work here. Well, so much for Argo.
So you think Bateman is dead too?
Well, he left a message for the professor saying that he's going to accompany Jacek to Helsinki and buy some spare parts they needed for that digging of theirs here. It was almost a month ago.
So you think...
The professor says that although those spare parts are hard to get, he certainly should be back already. In my opinion, he got them, was on his way back, and when he was somewhere around here in the woods, then...
Then what?
This is a weird place, Madame Leroy. Sometimes a few meters is enough to make someone lose their way. Even before, people got lost here from time to time. Some people just disappeared. And now that corpse... Moreover, someone like Bateman was the type to come across something.
What do you mean?
The man was odd. Such a quiet person. Always lost in thought, and he never smiled. This Bateman, he lost his wife, Beatrice, somewhere in America, and he looked like he was waiting for death to come to him, too. And that's not good, because he who waits will live to see Miss Leroy. And then he had this terrible argument with Jacek? Jacek was greedy, money-grubbing, so if it was about money... But the one who shouted like mad was Bateman. Would you believe that? Weird guy, really.
What about that Jacek? I think I may know him. He didn't leave some contact information? Don't you know where I can find him?
Well, you're not the only one who would like to know that. He was to return here from America. Schneider is still waiting for him, and the man just vanished into thin air. Maybe he got involved in something bad.
Why do you think that?
Normally, he wasn't a bad person. Unlike Schneider and that weirdo Bateman, it was at least possible to talk with him or to play some poker. At least when he'd not had too much to drink. They say he had problems with drinking even before, and I can believe it. When it went to his head, he totally lost control. Maybe that's why he argued so violently with Bateman before he left.
Didn't he write his address in the visitor's book?
No, I only have a contract with Argo, and anyone who works for them can stay here. Snyder deals with that. No one tells me anything.
And he's been away for as long as Jacek?
Exactly, it's been about a month.
You said that Bateman argued about something with Jacek. When was that approximately? And do you know what their argument was about?
No offense, but you ask a lot of questions. You know that? But I'll tell you, because it really was impossible not to overhear it. I was just repairing the railing in the hall, so I heard it firsthand.
Probably something trivial.
Hardly. They screamed like two psychos. Mostly Bateman. I couldn't believe he could get so angry. They squabbled about some book. They called it a manuscript or something. About some old book. Can you understand that?
Ancient documents can be extremely valuable, often in the tens of thousands of euros.
Well, that would explain it. After I left, they probably argued again in the lobby. I think one of them threw a hammer at the other one. I found it there.
And the fight, when did it happen?
About a month ago.
So immediately before Bateman accompanied him to Helsinki. Then Jacek went to the States.
Wait, you think Jacek would... because of that book? No, I wouldn't say that. Although, if he was drinking hard before he left...
It definitely has some logic to it. This is very interesting. Could Bateman be the first victim of Jacek? That dead man from the lake, the slashed newsman, is his doing for sure. Something tells me that Bateman may not have left for Helsinki at all. Schneider's the man at the table? From Argo.
You bet. He's their boss. From what I overheard, he's the only one who actually knows what they're looking for. I guess it's a really big secret. Come on, tell us. What are you looking for up there?
That's hardly your business. I'd rather you looked for those pills for me.
You see, this is how much fun I have here. Theo, I mean Jacek. Now that guy was funny. At least when he was sober.
You shouldn't have sold him any alcohol then. We came here to work, not to get drunk.
Yeah. You'd have them work the whole day in some damn crypt and after that have them go straight to bed. Maybe you should have bought some robots with you instead.
A crypt? Oh, what do you know about a crypt? If Bateman or Jacek had said anything to you about our research, it's classified. Secret. Do you understand?
Yes, I get it. As if anyone cared.
Our rivals, relic, thieves, everyone cares. So just don't talk about anything you've heard, okay?
And this basically is what has been going on here every day for several weeks now. Sweet, isn't it?
You said strange things were occurring here even before.
Yeah, I probably said that.
Can you tell me something more about it?
Is there a point in shocking you with even more?
Do I look shocked? Tell me.
All right, but they're probably only myths.
Those tend to be the most interesting.
This is a weird place. Do you know who Ayatara is? It's a woodland devil, a she-demon. Some say she's the mother of all evil. Supposedly, that's why they built the monastery here.
A demon?
We have legends here that she has her lair somewhere near the lake. So when a tourist gets lost in the woods, folks immediately start gossiping about her abducting them.
But then the tourists are found, aren't they? And all is resolved?
Sure, most of the time.
You've mentioned a monastery. Can you tell me more about it?
Some monks lived there once, a strange order. They were very reserved and uncommunicative. There were some very strange rumors about them, but people always talk too much.
For example, what?
For example, that they worshipped death. Hard to say if there's any truth in it. True is that when the monastery burned down several years ago, people were saying that they burned themselves voluntarily.
But you don't think so?
Well, there's another version according to which some young Frenchman started the fire. He was said to be some artist and wanted to destroy the order or something.
I see, but you don't believe that?
I'll put it this way. Some days before the fire, a young Frenchman stopped here for lunch, and he was heading there. Coincidence, is it?
But you just said that it's been several years already. Maybe you don't remember it well.
Well, it has been some time. Anyway, the monastery burned down and the monks disappeared, and that's good.
The monastery interests me more and more. Could you tell me the way to the monastery?
Well, look, I really don't want to be the one who sends you there. You want to know the way anywhere else, no problem, but there... Anyway, I can't stop you from taking a map and doing what you please, but I've warned you.
See you later. Mr. Schneider, I need to speak with you about something important.
Fine, talk. But in brief, bitteschön, I don't feel well and I want to go to sleep soon.
Sure, I'll try to keep you as briefly as possible. It's about a room that your company has booked here.
No, firstly, it's not my company. I only work for Argo, and secondly, who am I speaking with? Didn't your parents tell you that it's polite to introduce yourself first?
Of course, I'm sorry. Well, it's a little bit complicated.
What can be complicated about it? If it's the pronunciation, don't worry. I speak 5 languages fluently. Even Slavonic names are no problem for me.
Well, in fact, my name is more French than Slavonic. Lara. Leroy.
My pleasure. I'm Schneider, as you already know. May I ask what a lonely French girl with Russian features is doing so far from civilization, Madame Leroy?
Well, this is the difficult part. I'm doing a small investigation here.
Investigation? Like a police investigation? Do you have some badge?
Well, unfortunately not.
Any other official identification?
I don't have that either.
So you're a cop who seems very Russian without any papers. Great. You're a tourist, aren't you?
Yes, I'm a tourist.
And what do you hope you will find here? You've probably noticed that there's nothing interesting around here.
And what about the monastery?
The monastery is closed to the public.
Mr. Schneider, I really need a room tonight. Couldn't I use one of those empty rooms?
Unfortunately, it's out of the question. Argo's policy in such matters is clear. Rooms rented by the company may be used only by its employees. Nobody else.
I couldn't overlook that you have some serious problem with your stomach, Professor. What's wrong?
You're really a remarkable observer.
What exactly do you suffer from? Maybe I can help you.
I doubt that.
I heard that your 2 colleagues had a big disagreement about a month ago, before they both disappeared.
Who said that? Mr. Koppinen interests himself in things that aren't his business, as usual.
What was it about?
Sorry, but it's none of your business, Madame Leroy. I'm not in the mood to talk about the personal conflicts of my colleagues.
So it was something personal?
Excessive curiosity, Miss Leroy, is a very bad character trait, and doubly so in women. but it may comfort you a bit that I myself don't know and don't care at all. Jacek liked to have a drink sometimes, and then he behaved accordingly. A sad story, yes, but there's no need to look for anything else in it.
Professor, I know you don't feel well and you don't feel like talking, but with all respect, isn't it a bit short-sighted to refuse my help?
And why do you think you're the one who can help me?
So what's wrong with you?
Everything you can imagine. Gastric ulcer, digestive juices, secretion disorder, problems with parasympathetic nerves.
And you suffer from these all the time?
Sometimes more, sometimes less. It greatly depends on my diet, which is the reason it's so bad now. Meals here are appalling, schrecklich. All the time. But today's dinner was really something else.
I'm sorry to hear that. What about some medicine? Do you take anything?
Oh, sure, I do. I have special antacids I brought from Germany. They're really strong because nothing else helps me anymore.
Where do you keep those antacids?
Do I look like I know where I keep them?
So you forgot them somewhere?
That's obvious, isn't it?
Right. Let's try something else. When did you last take them?
Today before lunch. I was in the monastery, but I put them back in my pocket immediately. I clearly remember that. You think it didn't occur to me?
You've probably looked here, so I think you must have left them there.
Oh, you're a real genius. That didn't occur to me.
It's unusual for something to just fall out of a pocket. Didn't you take something else out of it?
No. Moreover, they were still there when I looked for the keys to the crypt. The keys! But yes, I couldn't find them, so I emptied all my pockets. I must have forgotten the pills there, in the caravan by the monastery.
So that's it. Maybe you shouldn't be so quick to refuse help when offered.
You're right. It was silly. I'll get them in the morning. I have to survive somehow till then. I'm not going there now in such weather.
So Schneider left his pills in the monastery not far from here. Maybe this could be a way to get a room here? Could you give me simple directions to the monastery?
That's not possible. The monastery is absolutely closed to the public.
But I came here specifically because of it. I would really like to see it.
There are exploration and reconstruction works underway in the monastery, and no tourist can disturb them. And if you don't believe me, and try to get there, you should know that Argo pays to have a guard there. He definitely won't allow you inside.
Moreover, there are only ruins left. You'll be disappointed.
You can't just go inside, Frau Leroy.
Not even if I'm accompanied by you? I came a long way.
That's not possible, even if I wanted to. Right now, I'm not in any condition to go anywhere. Try asking me tomorrow when I'm feeling better or have my remedy back.
Goodbye, Professor.
Those maps are for free. Promotion, you know. Feel free to take one.
Damn. I'd like to mark the way to the monastery, but there's nothing on the map in the area where the monastery should be. I don't even see any roads. I've searched the map thoroughly, but that monastery of yours isn't anywhere.
It's a tourist map, and the monastery isn't really fit for tourists. That's why.
Why?
Some strange monks used to live there. They didn't exactly like other people. I don't know how, but they arranged it somehow so that no one wrote anything about them. The monastery wasn't on any map, as if they didn't even exist.
But they aren't there anymore, are they?
No, the monastery burned down and some monks with it. What's been left is a dangerous and evil place, Madame Leroy. I don't much buy into such things, but I don't like it there neither. And more, Argo is doing some reconstruction and archaeological works there now. They uncover various passages and sometimes something collapses. Klaus here could tell you more about that for sure. A normal person would let it be, but not them. Am I right?
Oh, if everyone was such a superstitious fool like you, we wouldn't know anything about history.
Really? Maybe I'm a superstitious fool, but at least I wasn't found floating in a lake with my forehead slashed, like the newsman that was milling about there.
But I'd only like to take a few photos. I won't even go anywhere inside.
Well, if you really don't want to enter anywhere...
I really don't. Only several exterior photos, I promise.
Well, after all, it's your life, isn't it? So, about how to get there. It's not that difficult if you knew which way to go. So, go first there, turn here, and you're there. Is it clear?
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.
I don't think you should thank me. I've warned you.
Thanks, that helps me a lot.
You're welcome, but do me and yourself a favor. Go there only in the daytime.
Great, I have the way to the monastery marked on the map. So before Jacek went away, he had committed at least one other murder. That body in the lake. Could that have been an accidental victim? What if he's not in the States anymore? What if he came back already? That's not a very pleasant feeling. Not that I feel like going into the monastery now, but if I get Schneider his pills, hopefully he will let me stay in one of those rooms. The map says it's only a few kilometers. There's a light inside the cabin, and I can hear a radio. The guard seems to be inside. I have to hide now. The guard will definitely come to check what's wrong with the generator. Well, that was pointless. Maybe I should simply try walking through the main gate first.
Mita sina ta'ala teat.
Excuse me, but I don't understand. Do you speak English?
Go away. A pazua.
I'm just looking around the monastery. Take it easy.
Away. No.
That won't be necessary. I'm leaving.
And not return.
He definitely won't let me in. I'll have to think of another way to get there.
Hey, if you want one of those lemonades, it's €3. What can I do for you, Madam Leroy?
I'd like an iced tea.
Sure, it will be €3. Take whichever you like from the fridge. They all cost the same.
Here you are. A normal iced tea. Maybe too icy for this weather. No, I definitely can't open it. Not with my bare hands. The lid is somehow damaged. A hammer belonging to Argo. They probably use it for excavation. I'll take it, but I should give it back later. After all, it's a nice piece, and someone would miss it quite a lot. I'll hold the bottle like this, allowing me to put the nutcracker around it. The bottle lid is now tightly held by the jaws of the nutcracker. Brute force didn't help, but more brute force did. The lid is now loose. The bottle is now loose again. That tea wasn't bad at all. The iced tea bottle is empty. The iced tea bottle is empty. I'll take that little hose. Maybe I could somehow use this generator to get into the monastery unnoticed. The lid came off easily. Probably the generator is often refilled. I can siphon the gasoline from the generator into the bottle now. The hose now reaches the bottom of the tank. Everything is ready. Now I only have to suck in to start the gasoline flowing. It's important not to overdo it. I'd rather not have my mouth full of gasoline. I have to hide now. The guard will definitely come to check what's wrong with the generator. The guard is faster than I thought. He probably had some canisters of gasoline somewhere near. I have to find the antacids and get out of here. And quick. This place gives me the creeps. No, that won't budge. I can't unhook it that way. The bolt holds it too firm. A stripping knife may come in handy on this building site. The window is not held by anything, and now it's hanging loose. Good, I can look around properly at last. Schneider's photo is on the cover. Wow, that's really something. It looks like I've found Schneider's medicine. I should go back to the hotel and give it to him. It seems that the professor made some notes outside his regular work. Now I just have to come up with some clever story about how I got those pills. I can't just say I broke in to get them. I hope it'll be good for something because it really wasn't a pleasant trip. Professor?
Ja?
Professor, is this your medicine?
Das ist erstaunlich, Madame Leroy. Where did you find it? I thought I left it in the monastery.
You did forget the medicine in the monastery.
What? How did you get them from there? Haven't I told you that no one's allowed in the monastery?
Sure. The guard gave them to me.
Strange. Ula is perhaps more observant than I thought. Though I'd like to know how you were able to speak with him. Anyway, I thank you very much, Miss Leroy. I owe you a lot.
Professor, it's a bit awkward, but you said you're much obliged to me. May I ask something of you?
Sure, go on.
All the rooms are taken by your company. Couldn't I stay in one of them tonight? Perhaps Jacek's room. He hasn't returned yet anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. Even if Hari told you something else, I have to abide by the same contract as him. I can't do it. The rooms are only for employees and associates of Argo. No one else can use them.
Professor, I have an idea. You said that the rooms may be used only by professionals working for Argo, right?
Yes.
So what if I worked for you for a while? Only a very short contract, sort of a consultant.
Oh, Madame Leroy, it is an interesting idea, but an unfeasible one. Argo cooperates only with true professionals, only with the best in their field. Believe me, I'd like to help you, but to accept a new team member without sufficient experience would be a little bit embarrassing.
So test me. I'll prove that I have the knowledge needed for you to hire me for a short time.
Well, all right. I'll try not to be unduly hard on you. We may try my favorite test. I use it with my students at the university. If you really are interested in renovation, as you suggested before, it should be a piece of cake for you to pass the test. If you succeed, I'll admit that you could be an asset to us, and I will let you use the room. So, a good restorer has to know not only the processes of the restoration itself, but also the exact technological procedures used to create the artwork. It helps you to understand everything in a more complex way and helps to avoid lots of common mistakes. Madame Leroy, how would you proceed when making a fresco? I mean the classic ones, of course, the ones called warm fresco. What steps would you take, and in what order?
It's very important to properly prepare the lime plaster. Thanks to it, frescoes may remain in good condition even for several thousand years. I would let it sit for at least 14 days to let the processes inside the materials process correctly. I would apply a thicker aritio layer. It would have excellent adhesion. I'd let it all settle for at least 1 day. I would transfer the template onto the wall. Either I'd use the old method using a red pigment called sinopia, or I'll use the pouch of carbon black called spolvero on the perforated paper template.
Great, Madame Leroy. I see you know even the less-known methods. And what would you do next?
I'd apply the intonaco layer. I must not put it on the wall in greater amounts than I can use during one painting session. I have to smooth out the surface very precisely using a special wood derby float. Many painters forget that, and so the result of their work isn't exactly dazzling, even if they don't make any other mistake. The fresco painting requires very careful planning. Only during the Momento d'Oro is it possible to paint in such a way that the fresco will last and be of high quality.
And when does that Momento de Oro occur?
Best is between 1 and 2 hours. Before that time, the underlying layers are too soft, and after 2 hours, they become too dry and do not absorb properly. Now the time comes at last to paint the fresco. Special water-soluble paints are used for that. Buon frescoes don't dry in the classic way. Instead, the process of surface carbonization takes place, which is why frescoes are so incredibly durable.
Sehr gut. Eventually, you answered correctly. Good work.
So I may take that room now? Let's say as your expert help?
My word is good. Please don't be angry with me that I tested you like that. Sometimes I have to do as I'm told.
If you broke the contract, would you get fined?
Oh, to hell with the fines. But they could stop cooperating with me and I'd lose the opportunity to see such interesting places. Mr. Koppinen will prepare Jacek's room for you. As our new external consultant, you're entitled to it.
Gladly, but I have to clean it first. Theo left some stuff there.
Of course. I'll wait.
Of course, if you come across anything concerning our research, you leave that alone. These are internal things.
Done. Stuff that he left there, I put in the wardrobe. I locked it. Hopefully you won't need it.
Surely not. I'm traveling light.
I'll put the key in the room here on the table. It's the first one. The middle room is Bateman's, and the last one belongs to our beloved Snyder.
Thanks.
Yeah, and one more thing. It still smells of beer there. I wasn't able to air it out. Perhaps Jacek hid something in there. I've put a box with my wife's aromatic leaves there.
Never mind. It's better than sleeping outside. I definitely have to get inside the wardrobe containing Jacek's belongings. How did you get here? Why has Argo come here?
It's nice here. Clean air, beautiful nature.
Come on.
You really expect me to reveal our company's internal information? Don't make me laugh.
At last. But getting a room for the night really was a tough nut to crack.
Room number 3. Hopefully it will be okay. If you have any problem, just stop by.
It's locked. Great. The way is clear. I hope Jacek has left something there which will lead me to him. Good, there's some light shining from the outside. The switch should be here somewhere. It's quite tidy in here. At first sight, nothing was left after Jacek. Koppinen has locked the wardrobe with Jacek's stuff. Interesting. A plank near the wardrobe squeaks kind of differently from the rest of the floor. I'll move the bed a bit to see the board better. That doesn't make any sense. Looky, looky, what has Jacek hidden here? That's great. There are cockroaches under the floor. Some are even running under my bed. I'll put the plank back. I don't want every cockroach under the floor to move into my room. There are dozens of them. What kind of hotel is this? I used to sleep in slums in Asia, but I don't see any reason why I should share my room with cockroaches here. I'll ask Harry if he has anything I could use to deal with them.
Välttävästi makrokuvat kiinni. Lisäksi löytyy vielä vararunkona vanha polketti ja äänikone. Mene alas kuvauksessa, kun käytän 15 ministä kalasia.
What can I do for you, Madam Leroy?
I have a small problem. Cockroaches. They came into my room through some crevice in the floor.
Cockroaches? Are you sure?
You do have something I can get rid of them with, right?
Of course I do, but I can hardly believe that. Cockroaches in my hotel? I'd like to see that.
Be my guest. Just look under the bed.
Oh, not that I don't trust you, but I'll check it out. Be right back.
Sure. I'm not going anywhere. I hope he'll only look under the bed and won't check the floor. Otherwise, he could find the things hidden under it. I hope Schneider didn't see me, but I really need to get to that wardrobe.
You were right. There are some under the bed. I brought you something you can kill them with. I'll leave it here on the bar.
Thanks, I'll take care of them.
And I do apologize. Tomorrow I'll go through every room and check to see if there are any more of them.
I don't have anything to tell him right now. Thanks. I think this will deal with them.
My apologies again. If you wanted me to, I'd clean the room myself to see to it that there aren't any more of them somewhere.
I don't think that's necessary. Good night. Koponen said he had looked under the bed only. The things hidden beneath the floor should still be there. Unfortunately, there are only some empty papers and several pencils on the bedside table. Harry was very particular about the cleaning. It's good to know the lamp is working. Only some untrimmed pencils, an eraser, and a Bible in Polish. Nothing useful. Wait, there was a nice lighter in the back. I almost overlooked it. I'll take it. They're still there, a lot of them. A good dose of this stuff, and remember to keep a bit for those under the bed, and the problem is solved. Let's take a look at what Jacek used to improve his mood in the evenings. Jacek apparently offered to sell the manuscript they had found on the monastery. I suppose they kept Schneider in the dark, and Bateman probably wanted to examine it rather than sell it. Now that I have everything from the hideaway, I should put the bed back in place before Harry notices something. Great, the wardrobe is open. Let it be some clue. Whatever. A long, warm coat. Jacek apparently didn't wear it when he left. The notebook has all the inscribed pages torn out, but a headed paper from the finished post has fallen out of it. It contains several notes. It seems Jacek mailed something and immediately made notes about how he was going to explain it to Bateman. It seems that Jacek's room won't tell me anything more, but that manuscript, and especially Bateman, plays some role in it. If only I could look into his room, too. I'd better close the wardrobe. I don't want to advertise that I've searched it. That truck wasn't here before. Probably a new customer came. Such a car comes in handy here, that's for sure. The strong crane arm can be extended, and if the car is stabilized with those supports, it's probably able to lift even heavy items.
This trash is almost unwatchable. How long have you been promising to buy a new television? 3 years or 4?
Hey, Miko, don't piss me off. So why have you come at all? You've got that gigantic plasma of yours at home, don't you?
I'll leave the car here. My brother called me that there's a fallen tree in the woods. He managed to drive around it with his small car, but I have no chance with my own. I'll warm up a bit and walk home. I'll pop round tomorrow or the day after they remove that trunk.
What? You want to go home on foot?
I'll take the shortcut. It'll take less than an hour to get home. It's not even a proper blizzard out there.
Damn it, Miko, it's not about the weather, and you know it well.
Sure, there's somebody out there in the dark waiting for me to go by chance through the woods to murder me. Well, do you need anything?
You probably have known one another for a long time.
You mean me and Hari? Well, it's been several years already. You know, one has to get used to him. Mostly to those jokes of his. And he always urges everybody to drink something with him. That I don't want to drink because I came by car, it's impossible to explain that to him.
The mobile crane standing outside is yours?
The Inari village owns it, but I'm responsible for it. Why?
I've overheard that you can't get somewhere because of a fallen tree. I'd have thought this car would be able to remove it.
Do you know what the problem is with someone who knows nothing? It's that they always think.
Well, you do have a crane.
When a tree falls across the road in a thick forest, you have to cut it into pieces. And even if not, this car's not going to be able to move a tree.
But the crane works, doesn't it?
No, I have it there just for fun. Sure it works. And what a stupid question is that? I simply stabilize the car with these supports and then I can do what I need.
Maybe I could use that crane somehow. Are you sure about going home now in the middle of the night? Mr. Copenham may be right. There may really be somebody very dangerous out there.
So you two, great. Maybe there's some murdering madman wandering about, but who has a greater chance of encountering him? Me, going at night by an unused path, or you? You in an empty hotel, glowing in the night in the middle of the woods. If you call for help now, it'll be an hour before someone comes. And you know what they say, every moth flies to the light.
Maybe you should have something stronger before you set out. A grog, maybe?
I don't drink. I know what a booze can do. Just today I helped rescue a drunk man. And what's more, alcohol against the cold, you probably watch too many movies. It works in exactly the opposite way.
What can I do for you, Madam Leroy?
What is the new guest like?
It's Miko, our savior. When somebody gets stuck with their car, Miko comes to rescue them.
You're watching a hockey...
Sure. What else is there to do anyway? Shame that Miko's a non-drinker. I feel in my bones that we're gonna kick the asses of those Pelicans today at last. And that's something to celebrate.
Pelicans?
Ah, I see. You're not very fond of hockey, are you? Never mind.
Looky. Who would have known you could use a crank for this? Great, it works.
Hey, what the hell are you doing there?
Damn. The glove compartment was open in this car, so I tried to close it and probably pressed something.
Open? How could it be open?
How would I know? I just tried to close it so it doesn't get broken.
Yeah, you nearly got yourself into big trouble. Just close that door and don't touch it anymore, understood? I'd like to continue watching the match and not to worry about an overturned car.
Sure, I won't touch it again. While he's here, I can't do anything with it, that's for sure.
Damn, just at this very moment. Harry, that damn television of yours is really trash.
Hopefully he won't notice that I've switched it.
Great, I found it. It's still tied? Do you get it?
Such a car comes in handy here, that's for sure. The strong crane arm can be extended, and if the car is stabilized with those supports, it's probably able to lift even heavy items. I I shouldn't irritate that driver anymore. He wasn't very happy about me doing something with it. I shouldn't irritate...
What? Come on, not again!
I made his tea a little better.
Great, I found it. It's still tied? Do you get it? Damn, Harry, you put some booze in my tea?
What?
Alcohol! There's alcohol in the tea! Can't you really keep anything in your head, or are you making fun of me?
Please stop fussing here. It's just tea. I haven't put anything in it.
Yeah, if you deny it, it's gonna be a lot more fun. Bravo! I'm splitting my sides laughing. Guys told me you changed, but I always said, no, old Harry is always the same. A cool guy. A buddy. But they were right. I'm going home. Bye.
Miko, don't be silly. You're not going to miss the end of the match, are you? But there's really nothing in that tea. Gah.
Oh, that was quick. Such a car... Fine. The supports are firmly holding to the ground. This lever turns the crane arm around. This... I see. Careful, Laura. If I move it a bit more, the truck will pop. Careful, Laura. Careful, I don't want to hit my head with that. If I move it... Damn, I have to be... Damn, I have to be more careful. I have to be more... Damn. Careful. Damn, I have to... Careful, Laura. Careful, Laura. Damn, I have to be more careful. I have to be more careful. We're all damn. I have to damn. Damn. I have to. Careful, Laura. Damn. I have to be more careful. Be more careful, or I'll tear the pub down. Damn, I have to be more... The crane arm is now facing room number 2. The window can be lifted a little, but not opened. The way is clear. I should light it here somehow. I hope there won't be another surprise from Yatsek there. Bateman. I hope this gas is good enough for the lighter. I'm really not clever at such stuff. The light should be enough. I don't know what happened here, but it seems someone was very angry or in a hurry. Now this is a really strange letter. The painting has shifted a bit. Someone probably searched for something behind it. I'll get some light on it. This is most likely Bateman's late wife. Kopinen said her name, Beatrice? The cabinet is closed by a strange mechanism. Bateman probably used it to hide important things. I wonder if he left something in it. Wow, something clicked inside. I think it may be open now. Beatrice. Bateman obviously hasn't come to terms with the loss of his wife. Bateman evidently thought that the manuscript contains the key to a ritual he could use to bring his deceased wife back to life. It's no wonder he didn't want to sell it and fell out with Yatsek when he simply took it and sold it. Those symbols, the way he was killed. There's an evident connection with the murders committed by Yatsek. Could he have found something in the manuscript too? Bateman might do that because of his wife, but Yatsek? Why did Yatsek commit murder according to the manuscript? Did he find out what Bateman had read in it? But what's his motivation? Money? Well, at least now I know what those symbols were that were cut into the victims. I have to look there. It seems all the clues lead there. I've searched both rooms, learned some things, but I still don't have any idea where Yatsek could be now. So there's only one place left here where I've not yet been, and everything hangs on it. The crypt. I should blow out the candle. The less traces I leave here, the better. I should blow out the candle. The less traces I leave here, the better. I should blow out the candle. The less traces I leave here, the better. And that's it. I've returned the crane to its original position. The less tracks I leave, the better. It would be madness to drive back to the monastery and try to get into some crypt there in the middle of the night and in such weather. I should wait till morning. I can barely stay on my feet. I'll lock the door, and then I'm getting some sleep at last. What was that? Who's there? Yatsek?
You think he has come directly to you? It won't be that easy.
You?
It's quite nice here, isn't it? The woods, the lakes.
What are you?
Is it necessary to waste our time with that? Don't you know already?
You're the angel of death.
I am what I am. They call me many names, including that one.
So, everything Max said, what he eventually stopped believing in, really happened? But why Kira? What have you done to her?
Kiera is dead. She never worked for the FBI. They rejected her, and that killed her. Slowly, gradually.
You're lying. She wrote to me about how well she was doing there. She joined them soon after we returned from Asia.
Your shared dream. You will end up in Interpol, she in the FBI. But to want is sometimes not enough. Isn't it sad you haven't learned anything from those letters? Now it's too late.
She's really dead? So, the FBI invitation, plane tickets, reports...
Come on, of course it's all real. But you won't find her signature anywhere. She never spoke to anyone, and no one has ever seen her. She simply didn't play any role in that. And speaking of friends, a bold move placing that painting where anyone could see it. If it were not for Diego, you probably would have a big problem.
What do you want from me? Why have you come?
Do you recall what you told me last time? You doubted that the connection between Max and those murders had some realistic explanation.
And that's why you're here? To remind me of what I've said? Is this a dream? If so, it makes no sense.
I came to remind you that life is about decisions, about both small and crucial choices. I came to offer you the world as I see it, as Max saw it. You know it exists. Why do you fight it so much? When the most important decision in your life comes, I want you to just believe. Are you ready to do that? Are you ready to start believing in destiny? In things beyond your comprehension? Beyond your power?
Whoever you are, you see further than I. I will follow. I will believe.
Are you sure? Did that always so reasonable Laura change so much?
No, you're like a nightmare I want to wake from. Keep your supernatural crap.
Even after all you've seen and been through, isn't it time you stopped denying what's around you?
No, you're like a nightmare I want to wake from. Keep your supernatural crap.
Even after all you've seen and been through, isn't it time you stopped denying what's around you?
Whoever you are, you see further than I. I will follow. I will believe.
Are you sure? Did that always so reasonable Laura change so much?
Wise choice. It's not going to be easy, though. Letting yourself be carried away by destiny requires courage as well. You'll have to take a great step into the unknown.
I'm not afraid. I believe in Max, in our love, that we will be together again, and nothing else matters.
You people. You don't realize it, but there is something amazing about you.
Skip that. What have you done with Max?
You have to catch the killer first. Then we'll see.
Then why don't you help me more? You know everything, don't you? Why don't you just do it yourself?
You have no idea how fragile are the cobwebs on which we are now walking. If I make one wrong move, if I say one word more, the damage I could cause would be beyond repair. No, Lara, this task is yours, and yours only.
I still don't understand. How is it I can see you? Max said that only those who
are between life and death can see me. Whom I'm going to take with me, yes. But don't worry about that. You're really tired, aren't you? So tired. Even now your eyes are closing.
Kira? Was it a dream? It had to be a dream. Well, it doesn't change anything about what I have to do today. I need to look inside that crypt.
Good morning, Miss Leroy.
Good morning. Are you waiting for someone?
Yeah. My pickup to the monastery was supposed to be here a half hour ago.
The weather seems nice today. Maybe you could walk there?
Is that some kind of joke? I'm no youngster. I need all my strength for the work in the monastery.
And what happened to that pickup of yours? Some problems?
Regrettably, I have no idea. They don't pick up the phone. They should have been here at 9 o'clock sharp, as every other day. And just now, when Yatsuk and Bateman left me so much work to do and the snow has come so early, I'm wasting my time because of those two lazy workers. Potstausend!
Maybe I could help you somehow.
How?
As you can see, I have my car here. I could take you there.
9-9. I can't accept it. You've already done too much for me.
But, Professor, it's really no problem, and if you would allow me to look around, it would be, in fact, beneficial for me.
Well, you are registered as an Argo consultant for the next few days, aren't you?
Exactly. It would be a business trip.
Good. I think it could be all right, Madame Leroy. Tell me when you're ready to set out, and I'll join you.
Great. So, Professor, we may go.
Good.
But the car isn't exactly new. Don't expect a comfy ride.
I may be old, but I'm not as fragile as you think. I can bear a bit of discomfort. Guten Tag.
Hello, Mr. Schneider.
Ula, this is Miss Leroy. But you've met already.
Leroy. I see.
You have to forgive him. He doesn't speak much English.
I don't mind. Nice to meet you, Ule.
She is a co-worker. How would I... She, Argo. Ule, Argo. Ule understand?
Yep.
Well, hopefully he understood. You know, it's a hard task to find quality work here.
It's really hard work here. Nights alone. I really don't begrudge him that.
Oh, well, he's well paid for it, so what? If you need anything, I will be over here by the trailer.
Thanks.
And again, just to be sure, be careful there, bitteschön. There are many places that could collapse at any moment.
Mr. Ule? Ule?
Yep.
How do you do?
What you want?
Last night.
Night
when you sent me away.
I see. Night. Me didn't know you from Argo.
Could we forget about that? Nothing has happened, right?
Yep. You need me here.
Thanks. Do you need some help? That tape probably isn't really ideal for that.
Yep. Me don't have sticks.
Nails?
Yep. Nails. And a hammer. That's why the tape.
All right. Maybe I can find something you could use.
It's hard to believe I can freely enter now, only a few hours after I was climbing over the walls like a thief.
Ein Moment.
What's wrong?
I'm sorry, I can't let you into the back part. It's dangerous there.
I just wanted to peep in.
No, you can't even peep in. I'm sorry. There's a cave-in in there, lots of debris, some walls and statues. Everything's unstable. I don't want you to get hurt or to destroy something precious. There are very rare religious statues there, and I should hate to lose them in another cave-in.
Even from here, I couldn't miss those statues. What's so interesting about them?
Oh, they probably seem to you like ordinary statues of some angels, but appearances are deceptive. In my opinion, they're almost 1,000 years old. But no European culture of that epoch made such statues. In addition, those statues represent a certain entity in a very special way.
What entity?
To better understand it, you should know that the order residing here probably didn't belong to any of the known Christian orders. Even their cross is shaped differently.
Who did they worship?
An entity present in most civilizations, at least in some form. The Angel of Death.
I see. I suspected as much.
Really? I must admit it took me a bit more than a glance from far away to come to that. When I arrived, it was almost impossible to recognize anything in the burnt monastery. Its destruction was so complete, it almost seemed intentional.
Maybe, if Schneider knew what I know. I saw that a large piece of land has collapsed back there. Were there extensive cellars here?
The cellars here are vast, Madame Leroy, really vast. That's exactly why I don't want you to go anywhere else other than this courtyard. We haven't discovered all the underground passages yet. The ground here is full of tunnels like der Emmentaler. Bateman says only this courtyard is safe. There are no underground passages under it, but anywhere else the ground may cave in.
The Angel of Death. From which culture do these particular statues originate?
Now I don't understand you.
I just wanted to know if those statues represent the Archangel Gabriel or Michael. It's not Anubis. I would know it even from such a distance, same as Samael or Azrael.
Oh, I see you're quite well versed on the subject.
Let's say I've encountered it already.
Oh, but that's a remarkable coincidence. The interesting thing about this monastery is that there are representations of the Angel of Death from a plethora of world religions. One fresco I've managed to restore, for example, depicts Sariel, or Azrael, if you wish. I've also found a part of a statue depicting Anubis, at least I think so. And I'm working on an embossment depicting someone giving a coin to Charon.
And all this is from this monastery?
Sicher. And now comes the best. All of these artworks are at least 500 years old. Some parts of them even several thousand years old.
It sounds...
incredible, yes. If not for that stupid earthquake in San Francisco, I would surely have another 10 colleagues I've been asking for almost a month. But, regrettably, Argo is in utter chaos now.
What a shame. To discover a monastery devoted to the Angel of Death is fascinating.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, not to disregard the people of San Francisco, but this is incomparably more important. Don't they see it at Argo?
May I at least look at those statues in the back of the yard? Such things really fascinate me.
Well, it's very dangerous around the crypt.
Believe me, it's not my first time in such places. I'll be very careful.
All right, all right. But don't go near the crypt. We've taken something from it and has been quite unstable since then.
Of course.
If you wish to take some photographs, don't photograph anything from the surrounding area. Only those statues for your personal use, all right?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. But remember, those photos may not appear anywhere, or else Argo will sue you.
The lock is frozen outside and inside. It's not enough to take the ice away from its surface by hand. I'll try to put the flame closer to the ice. It's time to find out whether that trick with flames only works in films. So much for the lighter. The heat has obviously damaged it beyond repair. Great, the key fits there. The way into the crypt is open. Somewhere in this darkness, there has to be a clue that will lead me to Yatsek. If not, I'll really be in dire straits. Most of the crypt is lost in darkness. I can see some spotlights here, but they're turned off. The wire looks okay. It should work fine. The wire looks okay. It should work fine. I don't think anyone will miss them. This diagram shows how the spotlights further away in the crypt are connected. I'm almost sure of that. Now, only how to use it. The wire looks okay. It should work fine. There's some electricity warning here. Various circuits inside the box can be connected using wires. This could restore the power supply to the spotlights. I used that to start the generator. The connected lamps should light according to how the cables are connected. The helmet has Yatsek's name on it. It's lying near the stairs. Could it be that Yatsek fell from them and lost the helmet? What's this? This whole place is quite unstable. Hopefully it will last until I finish searching here. Something must have happened here. Those are working notes about the cellar restoration, not just scraps. It seems it literally flew away from someone's hands. Could it be that Bateman and Yatsek continued their argument from the hotel here? Judging by the way the papers are positioned, one of them stood here, and the other had to push him from here. Those scratchings, they look as if they were made by nails. There's even some blood there. It seems that someone fell from the stairs and tried to grab something. In vain, probably. Ule, I have a hammer and nails for you.
Oh, Kitos, Rova Leroy. Me thanks, good.
I hope Ule won't need it again. Ule has already hammered down all he needed to, so I can take it back. An hourglass symbol, the same as the one carved into the foreheads of those structural engineers murdered on Mission Street. A mirror symbol? Why, I've seen it somewhere. Burke! Burke's corpse had it carved into its forehead. The wire is cut. Well, I've insulated the wires.
Hello? Do you hear me down there?
Yes, Professor?
For your information, I just locked you in there, you traitor.
Why? I don't understand.
Yeah, Dummkopf. I should have known immediately. Where would you get all that information about restoration? Argo warned me about competitors, but this...
But I don't work for anyone.
Oh, sure, you just broke into the crypt like that, out of curiosity? No, you're going to stay locked up until I decide what to do with you.
Schneider, don't be ridiculous. You can see how unstable it is here. Do you want to bury me here or what?
Oh, you should have thought about that earlier. If it falls on your head, it will be your own fault.
Interesting. It's a wire from the service box by the entrance. I think Yatsek tore it from the box and threw it here into the darkness to make it more difficult to discover the crime scene. There's a lot of frozen dark liquid on the floor. It could be blood, but it's hard to say for sure. The seller could... That was close. I have to be careful. I really wouldn't like to end up buried by tons of stone. A burning cross? Reputedly, it was carved into the forehead of the corpse found in the local lake. It's a simple scales symbol. The scales usually symbolize justice or the weighing of souls before death. But I already know from Max that for the order that lived there, it was the symbol of a deadly sin, avarice. I'll try to cut out that plaster, but I have to be careful. This place multiplies every strike by 1,000-fold, and I don't want it all to collapse on my head. Oh, that shaking sounded dangerous. I have to be careful. I feel it won't withstand many more such blows. Damn. Careful, Lara. You don't want it collapsing on your head, do you? Only one more little tap. I want to believe it's empty. I think I know who's inside. Yatsek! Jesus, that's Yatsek. The resemblance to the photo is 100%. And the symbol on the forehead, it's the same as the one on the catafalque. In fact, each victim had one of the symbols that are carved here. What can that mean? Think, Laura. Think! Even if it's cold here, the body is decomposing. It's been here a few weeks, more likely a month. But it would mean Yatsek couldn't have been in San Francisco. So who went there? Could it be someone with Yatsek's papers? To impersonate him. But who? Bateman! Yes, Yatsek didn't kill anyone, but Bateman did, impersonating him, and Yatsek was his first victim.
Bravo. Nice deduction.
You again. Is it time to go already? The crypt will collapse, won't it? You've come for me.
Time to go? No, you have a mission. To catch Bateman. To stop him before he does something irreversible.
Like what? He's trying to perform some ritual using that manuscript.
That manuscript is not a toy. Someone like him should know that. But he acts like one infatuated. Infatuated by something he calls love.
Of course! He wants to resurrect his dead wife, Beatrice. That's the reason behind those sacrifices and symbols. But what about Max? What is his role in all of this? Does he help him, or is everything different?
You have too many questions and too little time. Stop him and then we'll talk. The ritual must not be performed. Must not. You can't imagine the consequences.
Schneider? You really should see this.
Do you think I'm stupid, Frau Leroy?
Jacek's body is in one of the catafalques. But if you don't think it's that important...
Was? Right, I'm coming down. But if this is some kind of trick of yours... Bateman killed Jacek? That quiet and unhappy man?
He was dispensable for Argo at that moment, but Jacek wasn't. The headquarters in the States requested him, so Bateman forged his papers and went to San Francisco to impersonate him. And there he continued killing, exactly according to the ritual described in the manuscript, in Vita Mortis.
What did you say? Where did you hear that name? Vita Mortis is a myth, a fiction.
I see. So Jacek and Bateman must have found something else here.
What? What did they find? When? They found Vita Mortis and didn't tell me. I don't believe that. Or maybe, Scheiße, that's why he has the same symbol on his forehead as the one in the catafalque. If there are other victims, victims with other symbols...
Vita Mortis is no myth, and you know it well. You were searching for it here.
Don't utter that name again. The book is said to contain dark, terrible secrets.
I read his notes. I think I know what he intends to do.
He wants to bring back his wife, doesn't he? His dead wife.
I need to make a call.
Lara? I'd rather not ask you.
Hello, please. I need information urgently. Argo employs a man named Bateman. He lost his wife during their honeymoon in a foreign country. Where did that happen? Where is she buried?
Hang on.
Who are you, exactly? Leroy is not your name, nicht wahr?
I have it. Beatrice Bateman. Murdered at Bob's Motel near Tijuana. Buried in the local cemetery.
Thanks. I'll explain later.
I asked you something. You're not a tourist or someone from our competitors. So, who the hell are you?
Someone who has to finish this all now in Tijuana.
So many lives lost because of one man. Because of the secrets it holds. A blasphemous reporter who had no faith in ancient curses. Stingy Jacek, who sold the manuscript against Bateman's will. Impatient engineers who caused the cave-in and injured Bateman. And Burke, that vain, arrogant Burke, who made others' achievements his own. And the fifth victim, whose despair will help Bateman finish his monstrous ritual. The curtain is closing, Laura. The show is about to end.